Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Glassman's world. So we're here in the war zone, basically at Southern and Louisiana, right where Van Buren Middle School is. And on my way home just a little while ago, I was noticing that these streets look extremely clean and clear today, and there ain't a lot of people out on the street. So I'm wondering if they're actually doing a cleanup, guys. So we're gonna go around right now and take a look and see, are they actually doing a cleanup right now? So this is Trumbull in Louisiana. Usually there's a bunch of people over here camped out. There's only like 2 people right there right now, right? We got a couple of people right here. That guy's yelling, or that girl's yelling at her dog. So usually, right here on Kentucky, there's a bunch of people out. Being that I live here in the war zone, I know the ins and outs of it. I know where everyone hangs out. I know where their campsites are. On the right here, just on the other side of this fence, there's usually a big old encampment right here. Clean, clear. A couple things at the trash can. Right here at Bell, there's usually a big old encampment to the left, and all along right here, and even right down all the way to Zuni right here. And sometimes you have encampments right here, and down, let's turn left right here. Usually, there's a bunch of people set up right here. Nothing. It's all clean and clear. Look, you can see the dirt on the ground right there where the camps were, on the left, on the right. But there's no camps, guys, which is interesting. Usually there's a bunch of people just out over here. And I'm gonna take you to some, like, we'll definitely see some people on the streets. You know, don't get me wrong. But compared to how it always is, there's something going on. I'm pretty sure that they are cleaning up this whole area right now. It's really interesting. Let's go down here to Jack and Jill Park. Jack and Jill Park usually has a lot of people here. And I didn't even go by here today, so I don't know what it's gonna look like. I'm just saying, on Central Avenue, it looks like they've been cleaning it up quite a bit, guys. It's pretty wild. But these are the side streets just south of Central, south of Zuni. These are the state streets, like California, Arizona, Kentucky, you know, and then you go past Louisiana, and then you get to like Texas, Utah, Rhode Island. So you got some camps here. Got a couple people here, but not bad. Not bad at all. Usually there's a lot more people at that park. That's a Jack and Jill Park on San Pedro here, just south of Zuni. And this park was actually closed for a really long time. I'm taking my turns really slow because you guys are on a tripod that isn't very sturdy, I just realized. Like, okay, maybe that's a little better. So we're just gonna go up here to Central on San Pedro right here, which is usually, like, you know, this is like home base, the central location of things that are usually going on right here. San Pedro, they've blocked off the alleyway here. There's a couple alleyways that are still open down here, but right here off of Central, this alleyway has been closed up. But a lot of people still hang out all right here in front of the smoke shop. But look, there's a cop. Is that a cop? Maybe that's not a cop. No, that's not a cop. All right, so there's some people kind of right here, but usually there's a camp right there on the right. And usually there's a ton of people at this bus stop. And here, we'll keep on going. All right, so now we're gonna go eastbound on Central here. right by San Pedro, the Circle K. This Sonic is closed down. The business next to it used to be some kind of like a, I don't know, like an XX rated video place. That place got burnt down. Somehow these places are still in business. The car shop, this Mexican food space, Bombay Spice. This place has always been open, which is cool. But usually right here on the sidewalk right here, there's always people out and about, guys. Always just walking right here at this hotel. Usually a bunch of encampments in here. All gone. All gone. This bus stop, the whole bus stop is gone now. This is a bad location. This is usually like full of people. Oh, okay. Actually, there's more people here now than there were a moment ago. But usually there's a lot more people right here. Okay, so that's interesting. There was an officer here a moment ago, and like he was clearing it all out. So I was wondering, where did everyone go? So maybe what they do is they just clear out for a moment, come over here to the side roads, like right here. I'm gonna take you guys down Cochiti. Cochiti is one of the worst. This is one of the worst spots here, okay? But when I was looking earlier, it looked like it was clear. Now, these people just moved in over here. They just came in recently. I don't know if the guys are around and about doing a, oh, look at this, is AOP security. I don't know. Maybe they are cleaning. These guys might be going around and giving people fresh ice water and things like that. That might be cool. Okay. I didn't come down here and I couldn't see around these vehicles, but I guess this is where everyone's gone to. Okay, yeah. So they moved everyone off Central, and now everyone's just basically a block south on Cochiti here. My dad used to live here on Cochiti. Right at this spot on the left. Oh, I'm gonna go through. They're going too slow. Yeah, my pops used to live here in this bad neighborhood. It's gotten a lot worse since he used to live here, though. Alright, well, let's go down a little ways, I guess, and see. Because, I don't know, maybe just no one was awake. It was 11 o'clock when I was rolling through, and it was like, where is everyone? But the thing is, this is actually clean and cleared out compared to what it normally usually looks like, guys, which is crazy because there's a lot of people out on the streets. There's a lot of individuals who have some, you know, different personal issues and things like that. And it sucks, you know. I have a friend who's out here on the streets, and, you know, because his family, you know, after his father passed away, the stepmother ends up selling the home that this individual who is, you know, was completely codependent on his father as a caregiver, as a caretaker. And as soon as he passed away, my friend no longer had anyone to take care of him, and didn't even know that his father passed away at the moment. And so it was months and months until I found out and realized what was going on. And at that point, it was already too late. The house was already going up for sale, and my friend was basically getting evicted from his home that his father was providing for him. So he has mental issues. His stepmother pushed him out onto the streets. I don't know why. I'm not understanding this at all. It's so strange. So now he's out here, you know, with his mental health issues. He doesn't know how to find himself any help. you know, his other living family that's around isn't able to take him in for whatever reasons, personal reasons or anything. And you know, I don't know what the history is on that, but it's sad that these individuals end up out here because families abandon them or because they abandon their families. Like straight up, there's people who are like, they would rather go and become junkies and go be on the streets than have to obey their mom's or their dad's rules in the house, right? This is my house. You're going to live under my roof. You're going to live under my rules, right? But some people, they can't do that. Their ego, their pride's too big. So, and their agenda, which isn't even the most important, of just, you know, becoming a junkie and getting screwed up, is that's their priority in life. And it's because they're running away from certain problems, certain issues. They'd rather not face these things head on, so they become numb. They personally make themselves null and void to where they don't have to have any accountability and deal with any of the situations and the problems at hand. So a lot of people abandon families, or you know, or families abandon people. You know, they don't want to listen to their authority. They don't want to listen to certain rules and regulations. So it's like, you know, it's either my way or the highway, so you can get out and go deal with it yourself, right? But then in this time and age right now we're living, it's extremely hard for anyone to come up with, you know, first, last, security deposit, pet deposits, any other sort of deposits that you need in order to get into a rental. Plus you need to have good credit and a good criminal history. And a lot of these individuals, you know, they've gone through some issues, and it's hard to ever have any kind of help. You know, if you weren't a good boy or a good girl, then you really, you know, it's hard to get help, right? And if, you know, if your credit isn't that good and you're working your butt off and you're trying your hardest to change your life around, like maybe in your teens, your early 20s, you didn't do things right in life and you had some legal issues, which, you know, sticks with your criminal record forever. And, you know, maybe you weren't told and taught how important it was to keep your credit clean and keep your criminal history clean, because it would then affect whether you could even get a job at certain places, to be able to get hired for certain wages and things like that, you know? And so a lot of people have these issues in life, you know, and it's personal issues that people just, they can't overcome them for some reason or another. But a lot of times the families give up on them, or they give up on their families. And so the real issue on like, how are we going to fix this homelessness crisis, this unhoused situation, the people living on the streets, how are we going to fix this crisis that's going on right now? You know, there's an individual out which I would love to run into right now. I need to actually turn around and go back the other way, because I'm going totally opposite from where I need to be going. I'm supposed to be running an errand right now to the bank. But I wanted to give you guys a look on Central Avenue. We're in Nob Hill right now, away from the war zone. And as you can see, there ain't no encampments. There's no people out here on the streets with big old tents and out here, you know, all the way through until you get to downtown. We're not going to take that drive again right now. We're going to go back up Central Avenue here on Route 66, and we're going to figure out where other people may be. So we've seen that they got pushed off of Central and away from the bus stops, but they're right there on Cochity, right? So they just basically push them out of sight, out of mind, you know, and it sucks. But like I was gonna say, there's an individual out here on the streets who's I wish I could remember the name of his group. I think it's called Omari, with the double E at the end, Omari. and he's going out with like some sort of a, I don't know if it's a cooler or if it's just like a container with water that's got a pump hooked up to it. But he's allowing people on the streets to get a little bit of dignity by being able to wash their hair, wash their hands, wash their face, get washed up a bit, clean up a little bit, give them some decent clean clothes to change into. And then he's also carrying around push brooms and bags and things. And after he gives and he allows these individuals to clean up themselves, this used to be our old spot. The Wafflearia used to be Cosmic Trading Post. Used to blow glass there. But after these individuals get some help and get cleaned up, then they turn around and ask how they can help, and they pick up the push brooms and stuff, and they start cleaning up the streets, guys. And I think that's so awesome. Hey, what's going on, AnCap? Thank you for telling everyone to hit that like button. I appreciate it. How you doing today? So I know you do the whole watch. I do a lot of different watches. I do chemtrail watch. I do watching our city, seeing how things are going, you know, keeping track of what the situation is with the Great Reset and us being the Q city. I don't know if you guys understand that we are the Q city, right? I don't know if you guys saw the things that I posted yesterday on Facebook with the whole Q agendas that are going on. The color green, also extremely significant, that vibrant, bright, fluorescent green. You know, anytime there's been some sort of a planned event, crisis, polypandemic, you'll see the green a lot these days. It's just a sign to know what you're watching. They let you know in plain sight what's going on. So I try to keep you guys informed with all these things, let you know that they're dismantling systems to recreate new systems. That the Great Reset is all about the New World Order, and how there's going to be a change in hands of the great powers that be, and the new world orders will come from different countries. The U.S. will eventually lose its I don't know what we're called, our dictatorship around the world. That we are the dictators of the world. We tell everyone what to do here, right? And it's not as simple as that you do this, you do that. It's like, well, you do this or we'll force you to pay tariffs, right? Like we do these things. We're the bullies of the world. But very soon that power, the powers are going to shift. And that's what the new world orders are. It's just we're going to change from one order to another within the world. And there'll be a new power shift. New country, I believe China is the ones that are coming up right now. China and India, and they're part of the whole BRICS system, BRICS, right? BRICS. What is that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. So right here, this is San Mateo and Central. Usually this is crawling with people. I'm talking like everywhere, coming out the woodworks. There's just people on the bus stop. Not too many. Yeah, I'm sure there's a person here or there that ain't waiting for the bus. But this is San Mateo, guys. This is clean and clear. You will see this building become transformed into affordable housing. This whole corridor right here, San Mateo, where they shut down the Walmart, they shut down the other businesses across the street from the Walmart. This whole corridor where they put the community center down there for the help for those who are unhoused, the homeless population, all the way down to the gates of Kirtland Air Force Base, where the Gateway Center is, the new homeless shelter down there. This is the hub right here. They're going to be transporting the individuals in and out through Kirtland Air Force Base, coming up to San Mateo, getting the help that they need down in those areas, going to the affordable housing here at this large building at San Mateo. They're making sure all these businesses here have been able to get shut down and forced out of business here on Central for the last like 10 years now. And they're taking over the motels. There, like this one here, the Tewa Lodge. That was where our chief of police, chief of APD ran the red light, hit the Mustang because he was involved in the pew pews going on right there. I think he was the one who did it. I believe so. You can see camera footage of it. I even put it on my channel here. I have a video of that. This is San Pedro and Central, guys. Usually this is crawling even more. You can see there's cops out and about right now. But they've been doing a cleanup. The scamdemic was a tool to help coordinate the changings of the times. It was to basically program people, reprogram, because we've already been programmed ever since birth. We're born into a birth certificate. We're docked, right? Where we have documents, so we become docked. You know, after we leave the waters of the womb, we get docked into the United States court system and the Fed, into that federal jurisdiction. Basically, we are given, our rights are then handed over by our parents as they sign our birth certificate. We're not told all this stuff. You guys don't know about the whole straw man thing and all that stuff. But there's a reason why all this stuff is getting shut down and these businesses are getting shut down, so they can take over this whole area here, because of the Expo New Mexico is right here, and they're going to turn this whole spot from the state fair and all the other things we have, like Pride Parade. What is Pride Fest going to do now when they can't go marching up and down Route 66? What about the state fair parade? They're going to try to host a parade in Rio Rancho, because I think that's where they're moving the state fair to. This whole area is usually crawling with people, guys. Usually. There's one person setting up camp right now. But they already came through and they did a sweep. They cleaned out this area. But people are coming back. This spot was not as packed right here, but it gets a lot more packed. A lot more. So the cops did a sweep. They cleaned it up for a moment, and then it was done. We're going to go up Louisiana here. I take you up further to Central and Wyoming, actually, that's where the worst parts are, but we don't really need to go. I'm just going to kind of ramble on a little bit as we go up Louisiana here. I'll show you Louisiana and Lomas, another area where they shut down a hotel recently and all the people went homeless. I don't know where those who are actually, like, you know, good residents, good renters who are just doing their best to scrape by off of what they could afford, you know. Maybe they could only afford whatever that rent was, $600, $800, $1,000, whatever it was. And I heard that, you know, the plumbing was bad, the electrical was bad, but they basically just endured it because that's what they could afford. You know, and if you make complaints in places like that, all they do is they evict you and they just bring in someone new, right? So if you make complaints to your landlord, yeah, they're not supposed to evict you for this and that, but they'll let some time go by, and then they'll just claim that something happened and whatever, and that they just need you to move, and they'll give you a 30-day notice after the fact that you've done and reported them on something, right? That's just the way the world works. It's kind of like, you know, some of these people are out on the streets because they were working for the man. They had a really good job doing the best they could. Oh my God. Sorry about that, guys. Doing the best they could with what they got. That was crazy. What's going on, Lori? I see you're here. Sorry about that. I told you I was trying to make these turns all simple and easy, but I have you on tripod. Luckily the window wasn't open or you guys would have fallen out to the street. That was crazy. I need to set you guys up on the tripod again. So we're here at Lomas and Louisiana now. Sorry about that. That was way dangerous. It's so dangerous to be dealing with this right here while driving. Okay, we're back. You guys still here with me? Go on ahead and put those LOLs and laughy faces. Because that shit was funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you shouldn't be allowed to laugh at anyone else. So yeah, I'm also trying to eat peanut butter toast while driving and not get peanut butter everywhere while trying to talk to you guys with my mouth full of peanut butter. So this area right here is usually pretty bad as well, especially over here at the gas station. But right now, I'm not seeing too many people there. Usually all around. There's one person on the bike behind the building there. This is the hotel that they recently shut down. That was a sad day. It was a good day for U-Haul, but for everyone else, that was an extremely sad day, guys. That was bad. All kinds of people got forced out of their homes because of other people's situation. You know, it's kind of like when they took our vehicle, because I removed our license plate from it because there was one of the tenants in our spot was stealing vehicles and borrowing our license plate without my permission. And you know, they came and they towed his stolen vehicle. They saw the vehicle next to it, which was ours, that didn't have a plate. They just made an assumption that it was stolen, so they towed our vehicle too. They ended up having to let it go because it was going to cost too much to get it out of impoundment. $500 by the next day. I was like, what? And then, or by Monday, and then it was going to cost another like few $100s to get it even running and then get it registered. They were just going to come and tow it again. I'm like, whatever, just take it. So now we got this band, which is cool. We're now headed to Uptown right here. Pretty much I'm headed to the bank, just to let you guys know. There is a little bit of homelessness up here. People walking the streets. They go up to the transit. They take the bus and they go to the transit area there. And they just catch a ride. They get out of the heat. It's extremely hot right now. You know, if you guys can imagine, most of you guys probably drive around with your air conditioners on, right? But, you know, like me, I have my windows down. I don't use the air conditioner until absolutely necessary. That's when my wife is in the car with me. Or our children are in the back, you know? But other than that, you know, I do it like this. Windows down, that's my air conditioning. But a lot of people can't even handle driving around town with their windows down because it's so hot. So can you imagine how hot it is to be out here on the streets? And we're talking like where the cement, the asphalt, the rocks, because we have xeriscape out here, guys. It's not like we have a bunch of grass and parks and trees and greenery and it's nice and cool and you can feel the ocean breeze in the air. Like, no, it ain't like that. We're in the high desert where it's dry as fuck and it's super hot, and it's also, we're closer to the sun, so our UV levels are even more extreme than most places, where we're usually running from like the 8s to the 13s in the UV levels. And so these people need to get out of the sun, you know? And we need to allow them, we need to be able to have the compassion to allow them to get out of the sun, to ride the buses and things like that so they can stay cool. Because they get kicked out of the parks where it's nice and cool in the grass and the shade. You know, we kick them out of all the different places that we don't even utilize, especially during the day when it's too hot for kids to go down slides, too hot for anyone to be out and about walking around, right? So I say, why not allow them to utilize these spaces, right? And then if people come in, they start using parks and stuff. Most of the time they go. They don't want to like really like interfere with family fun and stuff, you know? I've noticed at bus stops when they're doing their wheelies and stuff, if they see me walking with my kids, I'm not saying 100% of the time, but I'd say about 80% of the time, these individuals will actually tuck away, hide their stuff, and they'll even nudge the person who's like hidden it underneath their sweatshirt or in their t-shirt, you know, they're hiding or whatever and doing what they're doing, and their buddy is like nudging them like, hey, there's kids, hey, there's kids. And I think that's respectable that they do that, you know. Not everyone does though. There'll be some people who just blow it directly in your kid's face. You know, there's people like at the pizza parlor who will take a broken bottle to a little 11, 12-year-old girl's neck. You know, there are some mentally deranged people out here that we're dealing with. I got to run my errand now. I'm going to let you guys go. I just wanted to give you guys a look at kind of the real world here in Albuquerque and what goes on around the war zone and around the Expo, New Mexico, and how they're changing it around into affordable housing. And it's going to be interesting to see what that means. What does that actually mean? I would love to be able to ask Mayor Tim Keller, how much is affordable housing to you? Like, okay, if you worked a 9-to-5 job, minimum wage, what does affordable housing mean to you? If you work 40 hours a week, no more, no less, at minimum wage, which the mayor knows what that minimum is. You know, I don't know it because I haven't worked for the man in so long. I've worked for myself. I've created my own paradigm. That's what a lot of people need to try to figure out, how to create their own paradigms and not worrying about working for the man. Because like I was saying earlier, you can go work for hours and hours and hours and put in the time. And all it takes is one day where they need to downsize. And you might be one of them they have to let go. Or you might show up sick, or you might end up sick and have to call in a couple of days, and they're like, oh, sorry, you've missed too many days of work, we're gonna have to let you go. Or you've been tardy a couple of times because you got some issues going on, like, you know, maybe you have a newborn and the mother isn't able to wake up too easily because she's going through her own postpartum, and the father has to basically change the diapers and do all the formula to make sure that the baby's okay, and then put the baby from the crib into the mother's arms before going to work. And maybe that makes you a little bit late every day, just a little bit, right? But there's no compassion and consideration for those kind of things. The employer will just make sure that you know how easily you're replaceable, and that's about it. And that's what this world is. And a lot of the situation is that families have basically just made their own children, brothers, sisters, their own siblings, relatives feel like they're replaceable. And that's the problem of what's going on these days, guys, is that everyone feels like they're replaceable and no one feels like they have any worth or value. And that's the issue with these people who are on the streets, is they feel like they have no value, so they're not even trying to give back anymore. And I don't know what we can do to change this around, but there's one individual out there on the streets, like I said, what was it called? Amarali or something like that. His group is going out and they're giving these individuals showers and making them feel clean and giving them dignity and respect and showing them love and compassion. And then, like I said, they turn around and the people that were on the streets are now cleaning up the block right there, sweeping it up, making it look good, because they want to take pride in the place that they call home. Because, you know, wherever you lay is home, right? Wherever your heart is home. Home is where the heart is. And so if you lay there and that's your bed, you consider that home, right? Maybe all the streets are their home. Maybe they consider the whole city their home instead of one little box on the corner that people pay like a few $1,000s for rent for or mortgage for, but they're all just boxed up in their little corners anyways, all hidden away, tucked away from society, out of sight, out of mind as well. All just trying to get by. But with that said, you guys, I'm hot. I'm sitting in this non-air conditioned vehicle with only one window down so the air's not blowing. I got to run this errand. Thank you for tuning in and watching and coming along with me on this journey to check out what really is going on with the homeless situation. And you say ABQ loves creating homelessness. It's not just ABQ. That's what the Great Reset is all about. They've just been shipping people all around and back and forth. And now we have a place called Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. It's an encampment that everyone's going to get shipped to, guys. We got to pay attention to these things. We got to figure out what role we're going to have in this. Are we going to just sit by and watch things go idly by? Are we going to try to get involved? We're going to try to make a difference. Are we going to try to show some love? Or are we going to keep on pushing people away? How many family members have we all pushed away? How many of us have been pushed away by family? How many of us have been disowned by family members? How many of us have disowned family members ourselves? We got to take our own accountability, guys. I'm going to let you guys go with that. Love and blessings. I'm out.